that is correct.
Uh-huh.
If for some reason you'd like to have your camera off, that's fine, but otherwise, welcome. I am going to we had a newsletter come out for at the end of the summer. I'm going to put a link to that in the chat for everyone in case you missed it. We'd love for you to take advantage of that. We send these out quarterly, trying to keep everyone informed about what's going on with home sharing in our state. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes just to see if somebody else logs on. It's always a surprise to me. We had something like over 50 people signed up, but you never know how many are going to show. So, someone else is coming on right now. Hello, Dawn. Welcome.
Hello.
You missed my announcement about recording this meeting. So if you prefer to have your camera off, that is fine. But you've already started. So but I'm glad to see you. Welcome.
I was out on a hike and it took a little longer and I just now got in the door.
Oh my goodness. Well, be sure you hydrate.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
What kind of weather did you have for hiking, Doug?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, we were up north of Corvallis on the along near the Willamette River, along the Luckiamute River. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure I've ever heard of that one, and I've lived here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'll turn a light on here too. It's kind of dark there.
All right, we are going to officially start our meeting. If you haven't already muted your microphones, please do so now. And we're going to take a moment and let everyone just say their name, kind of their role. I mentioned this earlier before you got here, Don. I want to know your name, where you are in Oregon, and your role. AKA, are you a home seeker, a home owner looking to share your home, or maybe you've already matched? We'd like to know who's in the room. I'll just repeat my own information. I'm Judy Smith. I am an area manager with Homeshare Oregon, and I live in Springfield. Would you like to go next, Don?
Who, you said me or some?
Yeah, you, Don.
Okay. Dawn Jones, I live in Corvallis, Oregon. I have a large house and I've been doing home sharing through Corvallis Housing First for women who were homeless, but I'm just starting to wanting to really advocate for Homeshare Oregon. And so I have my third bedroom is just now getting set up to work through Homeshare. And I do have a woman who wants to move in next week, and she's just trying to go through the process of getting her profile in and that kind of thing. So that's happening, and I'm excited, and we're hoping that we can find a lot more people in Corvallis or Benton County who want to do home sharing.
I know they're there. I've already had some people sign up. Thank you, Don.
Yeah.
Denise Labuda, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I live in Bend, so I'm on the other side of where those fires are right now. The air has been clear, and it did rain a bit today. And I am a homeowner, and I have recently retired, so I'm contemplating. I have rented out a room in my home in the past to a friend who was sort of abruptly moved out of her existing housing situation. So I know that I have the capacity to do this, so I'm just here to learn more today to see what your organization's about and sort of who you all serve and learn more today. So that's why I'm here.
Excellent. Welcome. Thanks so much. Shirley, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I live in Eugene and I am a home seeker. I just signed up with Homeshare, and I have some time. My rent is increasing 9.9% in December, and my salary is not keeping up with my rent increase. I mean, it's crazy. And then they're talking about 14.6 next year. There's just no way. So that's why I started looking at Homeshare Oregon, and I'm hoping to find a good fit, but I'm not in a hurry. I can give it some time and find the right one. So
I remember talking to you the other day. Well,
Mhm.
so glad you're here. Ty, you want to go next? Oh, I know you've unmuted, but we don't have sound.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Barely.
Hear
But
me
not-
better?
There you go. That'll work great. Thank you.
Great. And
Oh, nope, you faded again, my dear. We need it louder.
okay, so thanks everyone for
Okay.
muting yourselves. And my name is Taida Horozovich. I am with Homeshare Oregon, and I do communications and marketing there. I'm very excited to connect with everybody today, and just want to briefly tell you about some exciting upcoming news and updates from Homeshare Oregon, and tell you that we are actually working on revamping our website to just make it more easy and simple for everybody to navigate. And thanks to a call like today, we learned from our community the type of content and information that is useful to you. So we have been incorporating a lot of those learned lessons and really listening to what our community has been asking for and telling us that they need and want. I live in Portland. I just moved here from Maryland about 2 months ago. Just literally fell in love with the nature of Oregon and decided to make the big leap. And so here I am. And I am myself in a home sharing scenario as a previous home seeker, I guess I should say. And it's a really wonderful learning experience, and also pushes the boundaries of comfort zone and is really enriching. And so I'm really thankful for this time where we sit down and speak together about our experience and share and exchange some of the opportunities and challenges, how to thrive in this really rapidly growing home sharing community. So please add yourself to our newsletter if you haven't already. We're just a few weeks away from releasing our fall newsletter in October. So be sure to add your email and not miss that. And then our team is growing. So I'm really excited to also say that we have Lupin Snyder, who joined us just last week as our area manager for the Portland metro area. And I'll let her introduce herself, but she is a seasoned community advocate, and we're super excited and very thrilled to have her on board. And welcome, Lupin.
Great. Thank you, Ty. As she said, my name is Lupin Snyder, and I am super excited to be with Homeshare Oregon. I have actually lived in the Portland area over 20 years now, and have worked a lot with all types of communities here and community services, everything from nonprofits to government. I've had my hand in a little bit of everything, but the consistent line is trying to work towards bettering our community. And I've been working with seniors for a better portion of that time. And I really enjoy what Homeshare brings, allowing folks to age in place and stay in these homes that they've worked so hard to have, and really matching up folks. I have 3 adult children, and none of whom are in the position to buy their own house at this point yet. And I really see it as an opportunity for that intergenerational chance to kind of both learn and grow and save money and support, you know, the rest of the community with participating. So it's really exciting, and I'm really honored to be here tonight because I get to hear from folks that are in the process, and that's kind of where I'm at. I've spent my whole day today actually talking to folks like you, and I'm just learning a lot about what the hopes are and what the needs are, and I really want to be really responsive to that. So as you all, I love that there's representation from all over the state, and it's good to hear perspective. And then as you know people and as you have these experiences too, pass them along to us, because our goal really as we grow is to really kind of help step by step. So I'm interested in learning all of it, and I look forward to hearing from you. Oh, Judy.
Hi, thanks. I'm sorry, I've got someone who's texting me that he can't get into our meeting, and I think it's because he signed up using a link that was from before May. So I don't think I can help him get here because I don't know how to do that at this point. That said, all right, so I'm just curious to know, our biggest purpose today was to just answer any questions that people have and also give you an opportunity to share from your own experience as you've started what I like to call the home sharing journey, because it's certainly that. It takes some effort and it takes some time. Does anyone in the room have a particular question that they would like answered? Because if not, we can tell you some questions we've been hearing, we could answer those, but we'd much rather personalize it and see if you've got anything you'd like to know.
Looks like Dawn raised her hand.
Oh, there we go. You know what? The only person I see is you. Okay, Dawn, you want to unmute and give us your question?
Okay,
and
yeah.
Answer it.
Yeah, well, okay, so I just did the profile for a home owner online through Silvernest, and I really liked that there were a lot of questions that it's just kind of yes or no or very easy to answer. And then I had done some work with some of the more subjective questions, and that's good. And then I had a lot of problem getting my photos. I had just taken pictures with my iPhone, and I had problem getting my photos onto the Silvernest website. And so I guess my question is like, I ended up going to the library, and they have a special hour once a month where you can get tech help. And I went, and it took us the whole hour. The guy said he was having problems, and it wasn't just me. So I'm just so I guess my question is about getting technical help. I mean, like if I imagine there are a lot of people like me who don't have a lot of, computer skills. And so I'm wondering how to get, like more help to people who may have trouble filling out the profile questionnaire. Yeah.
You're in my wheelhouse. That's what I do.
Hey, you found us, Martin. Yay. You were the one who was just texting. Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for persevering through technical difficulties. We love that. You're very capable. I wanted to answer Don's question, though. It's interesting. So many people that reach out to us end up communicating directly with me anyway, when it comes to figuring out the tech pieces. So you're not alone in that, Dawn. And I'm really glad to hear that you went to the library, because as a library supporter here in Springfield, I've actually been working with both the Springfield Library, and next on the docket, I'll be doing a training with the Cottage Grove librarians that work with their tech support for their patrons. And I just called the Corvallis Library today, and they're interested in something similar. But if I can get there ahead of a person who needs help, and I can tell them about our program and give them a chance to practice, because we actually have a practice link for people that are going to volunteer and help folks, overcome that technical mountain, if you will, because it can be quite a lift for some folks, quite a climb. A library is a great place to start out, but there's lots of libraries in Oregon, and I've only just started to reach out to them. Silvernest also has tech support. They have a phone number that you can call during open hours. Granted, they've only got a couple of people manning that number, and if they're on the phone with someone else, you have to leave a message. They have a chat feature. It can take up to 24 hours to get a response from them. But if you're really struggling with the technology and it's not doing what you want it to, chances are it's not you. They've upgraded their website and there have been some glitches. And you can reach out to your area representative, a myself or Lupin, and we can do what I call sending in a help ticket. And we, in your behalf, give them your contact information that we've already gathered from you, explain the problem and ask them to fix it. And it can be a faster response if you get one of us to do that than that 24-hour turnaround time from their chat feature. Does that help answer it, Don?
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. So, anybody else have some feedback on that? Ty or Lupin, I know you.
No, I think that was exactly correct, but I'm now curious. I want to hear Martin's introduction, and I also want to know if he's our new IT support.
Could be. We're looking for volunteers. Yeah, Martin, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? We want to know what part of the state you're in, because we've already done this with everyone else, but if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about you and why you find yourself on this meeting.
Okay, my name is Martin Gator, or just Marty's fine. I'm going to change it up there so you don't do that.
Okay.
My mother calls me Martin and it always makes me cringe, or I usually for business. So I know I haven't done business with you. Like if you call me Martin, I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So Marty's fine, Marty Gator. I'm in Lane County. I'm in Eugene. I'm in West Eugene over off of West 11th. Going through a little bit of a personal transition. House is being sold. So I'm going to be trying to find some place to live right now. So don't know where that's going to be. So that's what directed me your way. Paula Free was who directed me to you. I think I might have met you before, Judy. I'm not sure. You look familiar, but she had mentioned your name, so I looked you guys up and got registered. What do? I'm a accessibility consultant, digital content, web accessibility content consultant. So my goal is to make sure that everybody can access what's on the web. Because realistically, people don't think about everybody getting stuff on the web. So that's people with disabilities, people that are elderly, people like me who have ADHD, who can't process everything. I am a nerd whisperer, so I do know, I'd say I'd be considered first level IT support. I know just enough to get myself in trouble. Matter of fact, I'm just back online. My whole system went down over Labor Day weekend. So I was offline for almost 2 weeks, and I actually did a post, some content myself. I do a lot of content creation based on what I go through. I tend to tell people as a consultant, because I'm also a low barrier of entry business consultant. So as a consultant, I usually tell people what I've been through. This is what you shouldn't have to do. I spent a lot of time going back and forth with a major software vendor when I should have just worked with the local people here. So back and forth through email, when I just went right to the people here within 24 hours, I was back up and running. So, but most of the time it's human contact and hey, let's just kind of work it through and not being afraid of the machine. So that's me. And I do a lot of video stuff. I also am a part-time DJ on the side and a bunch of other stuff that I do.
Well, and I think you might need to be a home shower. You can volunteer now.
I agree with you, Lupin, and I think that you and I have seen each other at some greeter meetings. Does that sound possible?
That's
Yeah.
very, very, very possible. Yes, I'm very heavily involved with Springfield Chamber. I'm also on the Oregon Broadband Advisory Council. I'm the vice chair for the LTD Strategic Planning Committee. Holy cow. Yeah, throw a rock. I'm probably involved in it somehow. So, yes.
Well, now we need to get you involved in expanding affordable housing, especially since you're looking for some, Mark,
Yes.
you and I are going to connect. We're going to go out for coffee or something and have a little conversation. Did you have any questions specific to home sharing that we might be able to answer for you?
No, I just got signed up, and like I said, I'm still real new to the process. So really my immediate need is just, as I said, my situation is kind of changing drastically as we speak. We're putting the house on the market next month, and real estate kind of moves really fast in these parts I hear lately. So at this point, I'm just trying to find a place to park because I work out of my home. So that means where I go, my business will go too. So literally it's all going to kind of be moving parts. I'm kind of, I don't know, up in the air right now. So trying to find a place to go.
Well, I encourage you, when you create your profile, I'm going to guess you've probably already got it started, and you can always go
Yes,
back
ma'am.
and edit it, but describe what you're looking for. There are some people who will, the more specific you are, the better the match will be. I like to tell people, if it's important to you, that needs to be in your profile. And I'm going to guess the fact that you need a space to work from home and the flexibility to do that needs to be a part of that profile.
Absolutely. I need a room big enough that's either I can work in my room or a separate room. And I also have an emotional support dog.
All that goes in the profile. Obviously, we can't guarantee that you will find someone, but we are about to, Taida was involved in this, but we have created some ads that are going to be released later this month. And every time we do any kind of advertising, whether it's radio or TV or whatever, we always get a big bump in homeowners getting involved. And that's what we really need, are more homeowners, because if we don't get some more available properties, it's just a challenge. There's a lot more renters than there are home sharers, and that's the case with any kind of housing right now. The need is very great. But I'm glad that you had that conversation with Paula. I'll have to give her a kudo or something at the next
Absolutely.
greeter meeting.
Who did your commercials, by the way?
Boy, I wasn't involved in that. That's
Okay.
Taida could talk about, because she's our communications person. Taida?
Oh, yeah, sure. So that's kind of still in the works in the background, but it is definitely something that we will be announcing soon. And I apologize, Martin, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Who actually produces your commercials, your creative?
Oh, yeah, we work with a really excellent company. It's called TGF Productions. And so we are just now in the process of creating the timeline. We had an incredible shoot day that Lupin attended here in Portland, Lake Oswego, and we had an opportunity to talk with some wonderful home sharing community members. And so we are very truly excited to share those stories. And I, as a communications professional, I'm kind of old school PR girl. So we do also a lot of in-house, and it is a continuous initiative. So it's the TV ad specifically is for the media outlets. And so it's a slightly different process, but we are building out our platforms and producing more content. And Homeshare Oregon is in fact a fairly new organization. It's only been around for a little over a year. And I think we've achieved tremendous reach and impact, but it's still kind of new and growing. And so we truly value this opportunity to connect with professionals like yourself. I was very excited to hear about everything you're doing, Martin.
So if there's anything I can definitely help, I used to work in the Minneapolis TV market and the Denver TV market. I'm an Emmy-winning producer. So if there's anything, I worked in both marketing and production and sales and in news. So I actually have a lot of that experience as well, back in the days of rating points. So I'm probably a lot older than you.
Well, I'm told that I look younger than I am, but I am not surprised to hear about your wonderful accolades, and we would be honored to explore ways to work together. And I'm super excited to check out your DJing side of things too. That sounds really lovely.
Cool. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I could just talk all night, and I was late coming in. So I'm going to mute myself. But nice to meet you. Thank you for the feedback and the background.
I did want to actually also respond to what Don had addressed earlier, and just emphasize that anytime somebody has any kind of a glitch or a challenge or a question about any part of their journey in home sharing that mostly takes place online, and up until the point where the person is meeting their potential housemate, we do address these questions and issues and challenges on a case-to-case type of basis. And if you have met Judy, then you know that she is extremely responsive and very quick to reply. But also our team is growing, and we do rely also on Silvernest support. So as I mentioned, the new website that's coming does kind of respond to some of the questions that we anticipate people will have. And as I said, we do really listen to our community and the questions and the issues. And so we integrate this into how we respond and how we can continuously improve the journey for home sharers through Homeshare Oregon. So anytime, Dawn, that you are working with, and thank you so much, by the way, for doing all of this support for people in need. So anytime people have a specific question, you know, as Judy said, definitely go to Silvernest, but also check out our website FAQs and some of the additional resources. That's why we record these conversations, because a lot of times they do actually answer questions for people. So we'll be doing more of that, and also just sharing more information and building those resources for everyone. So thank you.
Thanks, Ty. Yeah, it's there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. We're very excited. Eventually, I mean, I don't have an exact date, but I do know that our new website is going to be I guess turned on. I don't know, activated, maybe that's a better word, but that is going to be happening very soon. We are getting through our last edits. It's very exciting. And with the addition of Lupin to the team, we're going to be doing some other collaborative work up in the Multnomah area with some of our partners as well. But before I ask her to share a little bit about that, I just want to check in if Denise or anybody else has a specific question. I don't want to go too quickly, but if Denise or Shirley have a specific question about home sharing, we'd love to address that.
Again, I sort of shared I'm new, so, you know, if you're fairly new, do you have representation here in Bend?
We don't have boots on the ground in Bend, but since May, I've been the only area representative for the entire state. So trust me, I'm very excited that we have now divided the state in half. And I believe, Douglas, you're in Douglas County, right? Is that where Bend is?
No, I'm in Deschutes.
Deschutes, okay. I knew it started with a D. Deschutes County will be under my umbrella, but I'm really happy because it's a much smaller umbrella now. I've had a little bit of interaction with some of the nonprofits over there that work with disabled people. There was a gentleman over there affiliated with Ability who owned his own home, and we were able to help match him with someone. The first person didn't work out, so I think he's in the process of finding a new person to live with. It just wasn't a good fit. So, and that happens. He has a case manager helping him, and he was really the first person in Bend, that homeowner, that I was able to work with. So we want to get more known over there, but you know, it's going to take a little bit more time, I think. And we do have a vision. I mean, there's 2 area managers now, but we have a plan to have 12 of them, you know, across the state as funding becomes available. We're really new. Denise, as Taina mentioned, we've been around for about a year, a little over a year. And
that's great.
Don't know we're here yet.
Right. So I just retired from the Council on Aging, which is an area agency in aging, the one that covers Central Oregon. So Deschutes, Crook, Jefferson counties, and a little bit of Klamath, North Klamath. So I would suggest you reach out to the Council on Aging and put your partnership. At least that's where you get connected into the seniors and the various senior centers around here where you can put information out. And depending on where you're doing your advertising, we don't, you know, there's the bulletin, which is incredibly expensive. I would instead try to get in and talk to Central Oregon Daily, the television news group. If you want to have them they do like 15-minute profile stories. You guys would be a good one to put on their queue. Once you had enough for them to build a story around, but they are a broader sort of organization doing more stories that help the community learn versus the bulletin, which is, you know, obviously a newspaper, but has a website, but not, you know, it's just too expensive to advertise on, to be honest.
Mention that outlet again, the TV outlet for me.
Central Oregon Daily News.
Oregon Daily News. I wrote it down already.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ty. Of course you did. Communications queen.
Oh, no.
I'm familiar
wanted-
with
I'm sorry.
I'm a little familiar with that particular TV outlet. I had a previous job with March Dines, and I had utilized their one of their interview things a few years ago over in Bend, because that was my area. But I had forgotten about them. So Denise, I'm really glad you mentioned it. And if you had a name or a contact over at that Council on Aging that you think would be a good one for me, trust me, I would happily follow up with them.
So I would call the woman who's the associate director, executive director, Cassie Regenball. So
All right.
just call the main number and they'll connect you.
Perfect. Got it.
And she can at least add this organization as a resource as it starts to grow. And then from a marketing standpoint, that's where I just stopped working. Do PR on this side of the mountain. That is how you're going to get things built. Most press releases that are done are picked up here, since it's a small community on a relative scale. And there's not a whole lot of brand new news. So whether you're picking people up in Sisters or in La Pine or wherever, you know, put it out to the local newspapers, of which Bend is the only one that has its own newspaper, everybody in the Nugget, in Sisters. So just some thoughts. So it basically sounds like I'm a little early. You don't really have a whole lot of awareness here. So there isn't a whole lot of.
Well, I wanted to jump in really quickly and just thank you for those resources and for, you know, recommending these really good outlets for us, Denise. And our organization is primarily online. So everything is online, technology based. And then we do have both Lupin and Judy on standby for any specific questions or support that you might need. And then we also work with a number of organizations that we call Homeshare Alliance partners. And our Homeshare allies are some of the organizations like what you just recommended. We connect with them, and they also have some information that talks about home sharing resources, and then we learn from that and we build our presence in that way as well. So basically what you just shared and what you are asking about is part of the way we build presence in a place like Bend. And I love the shoots floating on the river and going to Bend. It's such a treat. And even though it's kind of far away from Portland, it's truly rewarding and beautiful. And I do know that we have some people from that area registered on our you know, home sharing platform. So it's not like, you know, we're not on the map, but you're right. There is a lot of work to be done, and you do definitely have our support, and we are available to you for anything that you might need when it comes to your home sharing journey. So always feel free to reach out and ask. We are so there for you. Thank you.
I understand it's really hard. You're trying to build homeowners and you're trying to build people who need housing, and like everywhere else in Oregon, housing is severely short here as well. And so, and has grown to be incredibly expensive. There's that. I also, you know, we do have Central Oregon Community College, and we have a branch of OSU. So OSU Cascades is here. So there are college students also around who are also struggling, presumably with the same issue. Though my preference is to either work with seniors or more middle-aged, mature or adults as it comes to people that I want to choose to rent to at this point. But I'll just sort of pay attention. I'm not quite ready. I'm not really ready to put my profile up probably till the beginning of the year because I'm doing a whole lot of traveling the next few months in and out. So I'll probably get myself started in another few months. So maybe by then there'll be a little more awareness here.
I think that's great. Denise, I was gonna say, like, we do have, as Ty mentioned, renters listed kind of everywhere at this point. So it would be interesting once your profile is ready to see what sort of matches you would have. But you're correct in that also with our media blitz, I think we will have a lot more people in the system by the time you're ready to list your profile. But there are people in there now from your area. It's just going to grow. So that's our goal. That's and let us know when you do, and we'll also keep our eyes and ears open for it, because it's great to meet people personally, because we also can just talk, and we do a lot of just kind of thinking and sharing and matching in our heads, and so we do kind of try to keep things fresh. And so it's nice to meet you all with face to face too, because that helps us know what the need is and where the need is. So yeah, thank you for sharing. And also your resource is great, and it's something that we're connecting to here in Multnomah County as well, working with partners. And maybe it's a good time to mention one of the partners that I'll be working with is Meals on Wheels. And so folks that are actually already, people are visiting homes, bringing meals in, talking to people, kind of assessing if it's a good situation. So the things that you're bringing up too are what we'll be doing in other communities as well. We're sort of, the partnerships make sense because there's a lot of folks talking to households, seniors in particular already. And so it's a chance to kind of find out, well, is this a good home share possibility, and really use it as an option. So yeah, that's great. So it sounds like we're also along with Marty, we're going to enlist you as a volunteer in Bend
and I can't tell you that the area agencies in Oregon, there are 2 of them that are different than all the rest. And the 2 that are different are the ones in Multnomah County. So they deal mostly with Medicaid, and they're government affiliated versus the other ones are nonprofits. So the rest of the nonprofits do manage the Meals on Wheels as well.
Oh, good. Yeah.
The Central Oregon, the Council on Aging here also manages all the Meals on Wheels for the Central Oregon. And that's why we're doing work also in North Klamath. So that's great. And yes, we do know what's going on in all those households.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Good. Well, thank you. Yeah. Look forward to you joining the homeowner cadre of folks that we're working with. So
great, thanks.
Something to think about too, Denise. I've talked to other homeowners that do want to travel, and they like the idea of having someone who is secure and stable and compatible in their home while they're away. It gives them a little, but again, you have to find just the right match, and that does take time. Home sharing is not a quick process, but finding the right person is worth all the effort.
And I have a dog, so, adds more complexity.
Well,
it's also one of the benefits, right? I mean, that's one of the benefits of home share. We've had a lot of home sharing dogs and cats, and they enjoy it too sometimes. So
yeah, well, that would be the hope that this is, a mutual benefit to all household members.
Absolutely.
4 legs and a tail as well.
Yeah, we had
sometimes home sharing is a relatively fast match. So it depends. Usually it's several weeks. It can be a few months, but sometimes it's, really quick. It just depends on the circumstances and the matching process. So yeah, the sooner you start, the more experience you'll have with what's out there.
I noticed, Shirley, that you took your microphone off. Did you have a question?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I did my profile pretty early, really, because I'm really not looking to, the very soonest I would move would be December, because that's when my lease is up, and I'm not going to pay $1,800 to get out of my lease to move, not to do that. So, but I have some concerns about I guess my biggest concern is moving someplace, because I'm going to be putting an entire apartment full of furniture into storage, basically, for a time in order to do this. And the goal is to save some money. and buy a house of my own at some point. The market is such that you can't do that right now. There's just no way. I mean, interest rates are climbing higher and higher, and house prices are ridiculous. And I've been looking for 2 years, and it's just not going to happen. So that's what my situation is. And I guess I'm worried that, and my kids are here in town too. I live in Eugene. But I've moved twice in the last 2 years. This will be my third move when I do this. And I don't want to keep moving around. Like I just want to find someplace where I can stay basically until the time is right for, till I find the right opportunity to buy a house. And that's probably going to be another year or two, is my thought at this point. It's going to be a little while. So, but can you say, like, how often do people get into a situation and it really turns into a bad situation?
Does it really turn into a bad situation? Well, my hope would be no, but it doesn't always work. That's why I'm so glad you're in the situation you're in, that you can take time. If people rush, if they decide they're just gonna hand out their phone number to whoever,
Yeah, no, I'm not desperate by any means. I mean, I could stay here. I'm not going to sign my lease. I decided I'm not signing another lease. So, I mean, if it takes till February or March, I mean, I can wait to find the right match, but it is kind of scary,
And that's perfectly understandable, because you're exploring something that you've never done before. And going slow, I think, is the key to a successful match.
I would say, can I say a little bit, Judy, of like why I think, coming into this process and understanding, like, you just nailed the benefit of Homeshare Oregon, like right there, is that some people, when you're looking for roommates through Craigslist or through, any other sort of resource, there's not this built-in support system that we sort of promise to you, which is that we'll help you walk through the process. And so it hopefully takes away a little fear of the unknown, and really, if those steps are gone through, everything from background checks to really detailed questions and thought out shared situations, and including furniture. Surely it's possible you could find a place where you could take a better part of your furniture. There's all kinds of situations. Some are furnished, some are unfurnished, some are large spaces, some are small. So that's the type of thing to put in, as well as the timing. Like, I'm also finding that a lot of home providers really would prefer a longer commitment. That's what's important to them. And people choose to make month-to-month arrangements, 6-month arrangements. It's really also, again, up to the folks doing it. And I feel like it is that first step that's kind of the unknown. And then there's no, as you're saying, and as Judy echoed, there is no hurried process. You get to decide those steps as you take them, as well as the person that's seeking that home share situation. And so it's just a really thoughtful, measured process. And that's the part where, if there's questions, we also do mediation for people. I feel very comfortable talking to people about it. Takes that kind of one-to-one situation off, which often in Craigslist, people won't ask certain questions or won't reveal certain things or won't, be as clear. Whereas when there's a kind of a third-party system in place, it makes it a little easier to be like, well, my home share agreement says to ask this question, or you're really able to use this process as sort of the reason to have these conversations and to get as much clarity as you can, like, before you make that important choice. So, yeah.
So there's been 2 words used, an agreement and a lease. I'm really hoping not to sign another lease, because if let's say the interest rates change, and they drop all of a sudden, and I'm looking again for a home, I don't want to have to break a lease in order to buy you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get into another year lease if I don't have to.
Well, the document that's available on Silvernest, if you match through Silvernest, not everybody does. We also, our executive director found another one that she's actually using for her home sharing thing that she just set up. But you have a written agreement between the two of you. We encourage homeowners to consider a month-to-month lease just to keep that flexibility for if it doesn't work out or if there needs to be a change. Some people feel more secure having a 6-month lease or a 1-year lease, but it's crafted into what we call a home share agreement. And the ones that we use include a clause that says if for any reason this isn't working for either party, we agree to dissolve it with 30 days notice. And that's, you can always take that out and say, no, I want a 1-year lease. Every home provider or homeowner has a different preference, right? And it's all negotiable. And that's the piece that's really important to keep in mind. It's all negotiable, but we highly encourage that you do end up with a written agreement of some sort that you both sign that has the pieces in it that are important to you. And it sounds to me like it would be important to you to not have, to maybe stick with a month-to-month kind of an agreement. And when you build your profile as a homeowner, you can, you click all the boxes. Some people are open to anything. Other people only want this or that. But I always encourage people, communicate, ask questions, and see if what they've put out there, if there's any flexibility in it. I had a woman who found a home share she thought would be a good fit, but with $100 more than she thought she could afford. I encouraged her, well, reach out and ask him if he's flexible. And he was. And they did match. And they decided only 6 months because they weren't sure. Well, the 6 months came and went and they decided to go for another 6 months. It's all negotiable. Does that make sense?
I saw a couple of them that actually looked pretty good, but they didn't want no pets. And I'm.
Was that the ones with the brand new house?
I don't know. They were on the high side. They were $1,100 a month, but it included utilities and.
I've talked to them. Yeah, they're very specific. Not everyone's that specific, and some people do have pets and are willing to welcome them. They are out there. I had a couple of women that decided to meet up at a dog park because they wanted the dogs to be compatible, and it all worked out. So hang in there.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the agreement can be 1 month or 3 months, but more importantly, you can really build in the whole process. So first of all, I want to tell you, Shirley, that we provide templates that you can customize for the needs of you and your future roommate or housemate, rather. It sounds better to me. And not only can you customize this agreement, but you can build in exactly how you will address any type of an obstacle that you face, because people are different, and it's one thing to agree to do things a certain way, but then you can also add how you would resolve any type of conflict. So maybe you prefer to talk or an email. So I just wanted to tell you that we do have all of those resources available in Silvernest for you to guide you through the process and make sure that you feel comfortable with how everything is going before you commit to signing anything with the housemate.
Does that answer it enough for you? Shirley, because I see that Marty also has his hand up, but I want to make sure we don't cut you off. Did you have something else?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, well, if something else comes up, we've got a few minutes left, so it's all right. Marty, I see that little hand in the corner of your screen. What's your question?
And my hand's not so little, it's kind of big. But I'm really curious because I did actually really get my dog set up as an emotional support animal because of some of the stuff I am actually going through. So how big of a problem is that? Do you think that's going to be for me when it comes to the home share situation? Because that is a concern. I mean, I would literally scrap everything that I own and work off of my phone if need be and keep my dog. That's how important she is to me. So, and also something else I'm concerned about because I'm not from the Pacific Northwest, I tend to run afoul of the whole passive aggressive thing that happens up here. So you speak a lot about communication, and that's like a really big thing for me. So I try to get people to be more specific and more direct. So I do appreciate the push and the mindset of, you know, in writing and contracts and all that good stuff. I'm a really high communicator. So I'm hoping that's something that will be, I don't know, I guess appreciated in this kind of structure, because I over communicate all the time. Basically, I talk too much.
You know, Marty, if there was someone who is a bit of a recluse, I would never want you to match with them. But we can't promise you're going to find the perfect housemate, but we're sure going to work with you to try and find you a good one. And I love how Taida mentioned, it's funny, she just turned her screen off and my picture came
I'm
up.
about to say, whoa, you're in 2 places.
I know.
Two Judys. We wish we had 2 Judys.
My husband would beg to differ. Anyway, Marty, the piece of that Taida mentioned where you customize your home share agreement, you can put in things like, this is my, you know, best way to communicate. And again, a lot of that can, one piece of this whole process is once you match with someone online and you've asked them good questions through the app, because we don't want you to give out your personal information until you find someone who might be a good match. The next step is to meet them face to face. And we actually encourage people to do this in a neutral area. I always suggest a library or a coffee shop, but somewhere public, and to sit down and have a conversation, at least one, maybe more than one, where you explore some of these things and you figure out if you can communicate well with this person. There are red flags to watch for. I was working with one woman and she called me and said, this person won't do a background check. Should I move ahead? And I was like, I would think twice before doing that, because, you know, we make it so easy for people to take that step. And we even pay for the criminal background checks if they're one of our participants. And so if somebody's, you know, saying, oh, no, I can't do that, or the link isn't working, or I, you know, which is what she was running into, I just said I would take a step back, because, you know, there's reasons why we have this best practices in place. And so that piece about communication, Marty, I think you, once you met with a potential housemate one-on-one and had a good conversation with them, I think you'd be able to tell if they're a good fit for you or if they can communicate adequately. You just learn so much when you sit down with a person. So that's my best advice on that one. Does that help?
It does. It does. Thank you.
Of course. We've got
go ahead.
6 minutes left. Lupin, what were you going to say?
I was just going to give an example of a wonderful dog scenario, and you'll know, just like there's any other scenarios, there's definitely people out there that will be welcoming of a support animal. And there's been great examples of people that have come together that both have dogs and they now enjoy walking dogs together or doing, like, it's very possible. And obviously there's a ton of animal lovers out there, and they're a lot of pretty much different people for every scenario. So it is, just as Judy said, just the important part of being clear what you want. And it sounds like that will be an easy part of this for you, Marty. Like, you'll be able to really communicate what you need. And that's actually the most important piece. And so I think you're a step ahead of getting a good match by being able to do that for yourself.
I put that in my profile that my housemate has to be a dog lover, because I have a little 13-pound dog and he's not going anywhere without me. So
They're family, and I
yep,
think
they
the
are.
right housemate will know that and appreciate that, and that's why it's called the right housemate, because they get it. They become a part of your tribe, your community, right?
I was going to say too, so when I did the Silver Nest thing, which was just this weekend, I also did the background check because that was right there. It suggested to, so hopefully I didn't jump the gun on that because I already did it.
It's good for 6 months. You can, it's good for a while. And
it said only 90 days.
I'm going to clarify that a little bit. my understanding is that Silvernest has decided when they did their upgrade on their website that their background check needed to be renewed after only 3 months, which
Yeah, that's what it says. It says 90 days.
yeah, and I was surprised to see that because I think that's kind of overkill. You have to keep in mind that they are a for-profit company. We have a
Yeah.
contract with them, and they are a for-profit company. And so, of course, they have decided that this is yet another way where they can get people to go to their, they'll tell them, well, we'll give you a background check if you sign up and pay us $15 a month or whatever it is. So they did change that. It was 6 months when we started with them. And I did check with our executive director, and we are willing to pay for one. We have to spread our resources more equitably. So if that ends up being a problem, if it takes you longer than 3 months, and they're telling you you need to redo your background check, you can proceed without an active background check in posting a profile. But if you've already done it, and of course we will pay for it, but we at this point are doing it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I probably should have waited then. I did
Yeah,
it
me
too
too.
soon.
Well,
Too
no,
soon.
it's not like the clock is ticking, because the point of that announcement and disclaimer is literally that people create a profile and then it just sits there, and they're not utilizing the background check. So we will send you a follow-up email with the replay of our conversation, and we will double check on this specific question that's extremely relevant, because we are also looking to iron out anything that's unclear and give you the most accurate information that you can work with. So the main thing is that people actually utilize this within the first 6 months. And sometimes people either don't use it and their profile is just sitting there. So it's just another way to incentivize people to actually be active with their home sharing profile through this platform. But let us just double check and then use the follow-up email with the video replay to reflect what the accurate latest and the greatest state of affairs is with specifically the background checks with Homeshare.
I think it's a great gatekeeper. I mean, if everybody that's coming in knows that, okay, so far everybody's been checked so far, so it's good to know. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. So
yeah, and it's also an exercise in commitment, right? So how committed am I to this process, even if you're just thinking about it? And it is truly, we always say, a journey. So to prepare yourself to be in the process, to go through the motions, to prepare your living space if you're a homeowner, or to think about, like Shirley saying, what am I going to do with all my stuff? It's not all going to fit potentially in this new place, and so forth. So the journey of, creating your profile and staying on top of those matches and just finding people that resonate with where you are in your life and what you're looking for. These are all different types of encouragement, and the process itself does empower you to think about some things that maybe you haven't thought about before. But yeah, we will definitely follow up about the background check cost and duration of that timeline, 3 months, 6 months. So we'll circle back in the follow-up email.
And our goal really as staff is to help make sure there's not barriers to this process. So any kind of feedback you have, for sure, let us know, because that's our goal. We're here to make sure people get matched well and easily. And so whatever we can do to make that possible. So we'll definitely be in touch about that.
So another question, one of you had mentioned that there's another website besides Silvernest that somebody is using to find a housemate. Is it good to sign up with more than one then?
That would
You get different ones on different, it seems like you'd get different people on different sites probably. So
very possible. I do know there are some other roommate matching services out there, but the one that we're providing at no cost for you is the one with Silvernest.
Is the Silvernest.
Right. And we chose it's got some really great resources. And that's what we're currently doing. I can't say we're going to do it that way forever, but that's what we're doing now. I always want to respect people's time. It is now 6:01. So if you have further questions, that's what we're here for. You can call our numbers, or you can email. I mean, Shirley, I think you've got my email, and I know Marty does because he has my cell number because he was texting me. So
Yeah, and just to echo what Judy's saying, we are actually the only ones in HomeShare community for the state of Oregon. So HomeShare Oregon is the only one providing this service, and we use the technology partner Silvernest because they really drilled into how to find a compatible house made for you specifically, you know, everything we're talking about today, what you're specifically needing and so forth. And I'm also going to sign off and just say thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon. We'll send you a follow-up email in the next few days.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye now.